Let's go straight to Tel Aviv now, where we can speak to the Israeli Education Minister and former IDF pilot Yoav Kisch. Yoav, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us. You hear what President Biden says there. He says it was the other team, which is a rather peculiar way of saying it wasn't Israel. It was, in fact, a jihadi rocket and that went wrong or something like that. And the president says, yes, but lots of people doubt it, and we really got our work cut out. So what would you want to say, or what would you want to express at this point about that?
The Israeli Defense Forces made an exact and thorough analysis of what happened. It takes hours. Hamas didn't wait. Immediately they knew that the rocket was belonging to the extreme jihad organization. They did on purpose media against us. We checked and we convinced and we showed in actual data and photos. And I'll tell you what we showed. We checked around our attack teams. None of them were involved in the area of the hospital. Second, we saw Hamas launches at the exact time, Jihad Islamic, just not far away from the hospital, rockets to Israel. One of the rockets was misguided and fell into the hospital. They have done that already more than a few hundred times. They've sent thousands of rockets to Israel. They have hundreds that are sent that are falling in Gaza. This time they're always hurting Palestinian people, but this time they hurt their own hospital. We know that also by intelligence discussion between two activists of Hamas and Jihad Islamic. We decided to share this sensitive information where they say with their own voices that they understand that this is Jihad Islamic act. We have two different separate independent videos that show the failure of the rocket itself, where it launches and falls within Gaza. So once this was cleared, it's obvious that the Palestinians were hit by Hamas and the extreme jihad. There's a huge difference, and by this I want to conclude, huge difference between Israel and Hamas. Israel is fighting Hamas and fighting to win this war. We are doing whatever we can to avoid casualties between uninvolved Palestinians. We are only targeting Hamas targets. Hamas is doing the totally opposite. He's aiming at our civilian people. He's using the current Palestinian population as a human shield, and he's doing things that no one could believe. He raped women, he took hostage kids, babies, and they raped the women, they handcuffed the babies, they put people on fire. These are like animals. These is ISIS actions, and now they're hurting even the people they're supposed to be in favor of. So Palestinians have a safe corridor to leave the fighting area to the south of Gaza. We told them to do so, and I'm calling from here also that those who are not involved should leave this area and move to the south where it is safe. Palestinians is only targeted by Hamas, not by us.
And Israel was effectively forced to open the doors to the foreign press to show them the carnage, the devastation, the blood, the bodies, the agony, the anguish inflicted in that massacre by terrorists on innocent people, so that the world's press would have to say, this is what happened on that terrible day. These are the atrocities we were forced to see. These are the sights so barbaric, none of us were even capable of imagining them. And now we have seen them with our own eyes. Israel was forced to show these appalling abominations to the world's press so that Israel could not be accused of lying, exaggerating, manipulating, or any of the other accusations frequently volleyed against it. Now, do you think, as President Biden says, we are going to have our work cut out to show the world that this bomb that fell on a hospital and killed 500 innocent people, and obviously absolute tragedy, was not an Israeli bomb? It didn't come from Israel. It's not the work of Israel. Are you going to have to, do you think, open every particle of information up to the world's media in a similar way to say it wasn't us? Look, we can show it, we can prove it. I don't want any discussion about it and doubt and any kind of rumor. We can prove it wasn't us. Look.
We did that. All the things that I mentioned before is open for the public. and we'll pass it through international media. The people need to see and understand, not only the Hamas has done the worst thing in human history since the Holocaust. It is also now killing its own people by shooting and even lying on purpose. They knew that it was a Jihad Islamic rocket, and they used this horrible accident to blame Israel. I used to be a fighter pilot in the Israeli Air Force. I know how careful we are in picking up the targets, what we do in order to avoid any people who are not involved into this circle of violence. The Hamas is absolutely the other way. They are, I must tell you, just today, and we're more than 11 days after the horrible attack, we found 2 bodies burned to ashes almost in one of the houses in one of the kibbutzim on surrounding when the Hamas did their action there. It was in a place that you just couldn't believe that they even burned them, and this is something that the eyes cannot tolerate. I mean, these are things that nothing has happened in humanity, just the Holocaust. You saw it there. So we're dealing with the modern Nazis. We're dealing with them more extreme than ISIS. It's called Hamas. Our target, and we are very determined, is to eliminate Hamas, and we will do that.
Okay, well, that was my next question, because I keep being asked the same question over and over. What is Israel trying to do? What is this war now of attrition? What is it about? How will Israel wipe out Hamas? And if somehow, miraculously, Israel is able to do that, will there not be another body of equal hatred and equal amorality that will slide straight into the gap? What does Israel think? Even if Israel is completely successful in doing what you're setting out to do, what do you think will happen next?
I want to separate the 2 issues. One issue, let you imagine that a part of England was controlled by ISIS, and people who support ISIS are there. And then you would not allow them, after what they did to if you were sitting on 1 mile from the border, and they were crossing the border, burning your people alive, cutting babies' heads, you would say, for your own self-defense, and not just defense, I, as a minister here in Israel, would not like to live in a country that cannot protect itself. And we understood one thing, that against the Hamas, there is no option of discussion. Hamas is like ISIS, which was destroyed. That's what we'll do to Hamas. Whatever it takes, we are determined to do that. We have the unbreakable spirit of Israel and our soldiers, and we're going to fight. And whatever it takes, there will be no Hamas. Once we finish with this mission, again, with the Palestinian people who are also in Judea and Samaria, and we have discussions, we need to solve this problem. There are the people who want to live together in peace. We have a mutual understanding on this. To those animals who did what they did, there is no discussion. There is only one thing that we can do, and that is win this war and destroy them.
Yoav Kisch, thank you very much indeed for joining me. We appreciate it very much indeed.